Hello, I'm Andres Castrillon, President of Consensus International. In this video that we presented to customers of Macola, I'm going to be showing some capabilities of SAP Business One that will allow you to create additional fields and attach logic to them as needed with an unlimited number of user-defined fields. We're also going to be introducing the graphical view of all the transactions, so you could see on the screen one specific transaction, how it relates to the rest of the transactions within the system in a graphical mode. You're going to have a very clear picture of a operation that you have on your system. Thank you.
I could open one of the windows here, and I have user-defined fields in this case, and I could create as many as I want. If I don't want to see user-defined fields, and by the way, I could move the user-defined fields into the main screens if I want to. Not only that, I could also, let me hide the UDFs. If I want to, I could also hide tabs. I could hide columns. I could do pretty much anything on the screen, and I could actually configure that by user or group of users. Okay. So if I want to enter an order, let's say for our customer John Q Windows, I could just start typing. I'm using John Q Windows because if you run Macola, you have probably seen the John Q Windows on the test database of Macola, right? So, and then you select the items that you want to sell, whatever it is. You can start typing by item, by name, by barcode, by whatever. So I say this item here. Then you enter how many you're selling, 10 in this case. And then I could say that the tax code is exempt in this case, that I'm going to be shipping from warehouse 01. And then I could say, I could enter actually the different delivery date. Let's say that the customer is ordering the same product, is ordering 20, and I'm using some shortcuts. I use Control Up, and it's copying the value of the column on top of it. And I could say, this is going to be delivered on Halloween. Yeah, so I could do those type of things. I could also say I want to enter an order for an item. Description starts with J. Right, I'm going to ship 5. And by the way, I could customize this screen to include the columns that I want. I could even say from here, I don't want to use what I have in stock. This is a special item. I want to create procurement document based on this specific line. So I want to purchase this item because this item is very specific, for example, right? So I don't want to use what I have. And the system would trigger automatically either a purchase order or a production order, depending on how the item is acquired. And modifying these columns in here is as easy as clicking here, coming to the table format and saying which columns I want to have visible. I could even, for example, show discounts or taxes and say, you won't be able to change anything. I could automatically bring a discount for this customer based on pricing or certain, characteristics, but I don't want the salesperson taking orders to override the discount. So I could do those type of things quite easily. And I could move, columns around. So I could move this. If I drag it up, I could move it here, click OK. And by the way, I could have the order enter in multiple units of measure, in boxes, in units, in cartons, in containers, right? And it's the same item. Right? Anyway, this sales order has just been created. This is the one that I have in here. Tells me where it is. And in SAP, I could automatically configure the system to send an order confirmation to the customer via email. I don't have to do it manually. I could create a PDF, attach it to an email, and send it, but I could also configure sales orders, for example, as an automatic email to customers. Yeah, in SAP Business One, you have the possibility of defining workflows as well. Yeah, the simple stuff is just a setting. I want to email. Okay, I want an approval. I want to notify someone. That's like very quick. But if I want to really set up a workflow with the flow chart type of icons and logic and triggers, I can do that as well in SAP. That's standard. Just yes. I have logistics. I have logistics tab as well. I have all the accounting information, and I can SAP is a full CRM system. I can attach documents to any transaction, any master data, or I could create, for example, activities. I could create a new activity, and I can actually do it manually. I could say, you know what, I want to do a phone call, and I could define a new one, whatever it is, and I can assign it to a different user. And I could say, please call this guy on the 20th, follow up call, sales order, whatever, right? And it's assigned, and that's going to be scheduled for the 20th for this user, and it's going to, if I want to, it's going to show on the Outlook calendar. It's not on Google Docs yet. SAP has an agreement with Microsoft, so it's only for Office at this point. Once I get my order, I could create a pick list. I could see that, could make that visible at the warehouse. I could notify the warehouse manager or the pickers. I could create a picking list. I could see on the WISE's screen, on the WISE's handheld, that I have an order that is ready and approved to be picked and delivered. Once I go through the process of picking and fulfilling the order or whatever, then a delivery document is created, and I can add it. And if I go back to my sales order and I refresh, now it's grayed out. It means that this document has a corresponding document linked to it. And you could see that in this icon here. There is a target document. I could always, which is what most people do, most of the users do, they click on relationship map, and it's going to show you that the sales order originated a delivery document. And if I get the delivery document, I could do either the individual invoicing, or I could have the system automatically invoice anything that has been delivered today, or in the last half hour, or in the last 30 minutes, or whatever. So that is a process that I could run. Okay. And I could just go ahead and create the invoice, or do a return, or do whatever it is. And once I create the invoice, even the delivery is going to be grayed out. So if I come back to the delivery, now the delivery is grayed out. And if I look at this relationship map, let me just refresh it this way. It's going to show that the sales order created delivery, and the delivery an invoice. This red means that I still haven't collected anything with regards to this invoice. It's open. The customer is owing me money. All right. If I have payments, I could see those. And this could get real complex. I could get one payment for multiple invoices, and the invoice could be coming from multiple deliveries, and a delivery could be coming from multiple sales orders. So it could get complicated pretty quick. But let's say that this was invoiced and we made a mistake. We know what it means in Macola. It's a little challenging, right? I could just cancel the document. And once I add this cancellation, right? And I go back to the delivery is open again. And if I see the relationship map, now I see a delivery and invoice cancellation. Now I could go ahead again, open the delivery, and then say I made a mistake because I invoiced the customer incorrectly for whatever reason. Now I could go ahead, create an invoice, and maybe give them a discount. Okay. And the transaction that was a cancellation is not going to show on the statement. I could create a credit memo as well, and those are going to show on the statement. And there are, traceability of who did it, when, from which terminal, what was the reason, and you should be authorized to do cancellations, for example. It's not everybody, right? Yes, you can do that, yeah. We have done it, yeah. We've done it for multiple customers. And you could either do it manually through approvals, for example, or you could see, okay, I have it. Let me see where I have it. Or if it's within my same company or branch, that's easy, super easy. But if I want to do it from a different subsidiary in a different country or whatever, I could create the intercompany transaction that purchased the item from the other company, and right. So now I see the new invoice linked to the previous delivery, right? I'll do something here now. By the way, I can all these documents could be linked to different formats in usually Crystal, but you have a different layout that is text-based, simple to use. And you could have as many as you want, and you could edit it. And this format of document could be associated with a territory, a customer type, a country. So I could have invoice forms in French and Spanish, not only in English, right? If I'm shipping to Montreal, then I want to print the documentation in French. That can be done automatically. You see in SAP Business One the golden arrows. Golden arrows are used to pretty much, link or jump directly to that element of information. In this case, I could click on the golden arrow, is going to take me to the business partner, to the customer, right? In this case. In the accounting tab, I also have journal remarks. If I click here, it's going to open the journal entry that was created automatically. And the way that you set up the accounting is super simple, super easy, and you don't have to post. You don't have to take users out, or right? Everything is in real time. That helps a lot. And from here, you could go to the chart of accounts. If you know how to click on golden arrows, you know how to navigate in SAP Business One. It's that easy. So you pick an account, you see what is the balance, you click on the balance, and it's going to show you, posting date, how many transactions you want to display, etc. And this is ordered by posting date, but if you want to double click, it's going to switch the sorting or the transaction. You could have by offset account, or by originating document, or whatever. And anything that you see on the screen that looks like a grid, like an Excel grid, if you click on Excel, it's going to create it in Excel right away. So once I click on the golden arrow for an item, then I go to the item master. At the level of the item master, you see, kind of a static information. You have multiple units of measure groups, so you could have, best way of explaining that is maybe with beer, right? A 6-pack, a 12-pack, a 24-pack, a box, or maybe a pallet, which is what John gets usually. So you could do that. And then for each one of the presentations, you have different barcodes, which means the you scan the barcode, the system knows automatically which product is it, right? So we have companies that are distributors of food, for example, and yeah, they could sell the pallet, the master case, or the inner case, but they want to keep statistics by the unit, for example, by SKU. So you could do that. So you have all the barcodings and all this information, the units of measure and the different barcodes are used by WISEs pretty well. So you have multiple units of measures here. This item is not managed by zero batch, but I could pretty quick come here and say, look for items that are, let's say, batch control. All these items are batch control. Any of these items. So let's see which ones we could use here. So this is zero batch number. I have an inventory here. And I could see, just to give you an idea, batch number transactions report. And this item with these batches, I pick a batch in here, and it's telling me that this batch was received on this date in this quantity. This batch was received 50 and was shipped out is 50. And it works exactly the same with serial numbers. For items, for example, that you provide warranty and that are serialized, it's going to show you that you either produce the item, manufacture the item, then you ship it to the customer, equipment, a device, whatever, and then the customer sends it back for repair, calibration, whatever. You see that on the service calls, and back again to the customer. So, or you received it, ship a different one, either repair it, resell it, whatever. If I pick one of the batches, for example, you see these batches here. So I pick this batch, for example, it opens up. This is the batch, and I have multiple attributes, and I could create more if needed. And I could attach logic to it. That is called in SAP a formatted search. So I could create certain validations. I want these attributes to have a different name. For example, I could say this is going to be country of origin. Right? So I could change the name, for example, and then I could say these are the valid values, a drop down, I could do that. Then I could create rules when I enter the order from the customer, and I could do a drop down of batches, and it's going to show me all the batches, and I say this is the one that meets the criteria of the customer. I pick it up, and it creates a hot allocation on the sales order. And it's going to print on the pick ticket, on the delivery, whatever. So once you go to do the picking, the system is going to direct you to that specific batch. So that's an option. So yeah, you could do that, and then you're going to see this flow of the different batches. And again, here you could show as many parameters as you want. And something I can do in SAP is create fields and create logic and attach logic to them. You can do it. You don't have to call us to do that. So that's really, really common. So simple example. We have a few companies that are selling stones for kitchens, remodeling and stuff. So they have to, this is the product that I want, but I have this square feet, for example. So once they're taking the order, they have to see what are the batches that they have and how many square feet they have in each one of them. This is the one that I want. I had allocated, and that's going to go straight to the warehouse. But you could create other logic behind it.
I hope you enjoyed this presentation. We'll be glad to pay you a visit or do a presentation specifically for your company. Just let us know. We'll be glad to meet with you and your team.